Peace, y'all. How y'all doing? So, I had my first live today. I know not very many people were there, and that's okay. I'm also hoping that next time that there is a bigger audience, I'm just gonna keep being persistent because I think the more I am consistent with this, with my channel, I'm going to be able to pick up more of an audience because I can admit that when I first started, I was not very consistent, and then I kind of went through something and I wasn't in the best space to kind of, give tarot readings, but that's neither here nor there. I'm back in a good space. At least I think I am. you know, we always have to still worry about those triggers that we have to deal with that caused us, issues in the beginning. But I want to share with y'all my I guess you can say my breakup story. You know, I don't know. Maybe it'll be helpful for other people. I know for one that it'll be helpful for me. Um, Me talking about my breakup, it's not going to be like one of those blame it on him kind of situation. Even though, I want to. But I'm not gonna do that because I understand my own faults. But I also see his faults. And it doesn't matter if he sees them or not, because I don't really expect anything from him. Um, because he showed me who he was, and I believe him. I'm not the one that's gonna be convinced of anything else past what I see. Right? Like I've had this experience with this situation, and for me it was a real lived experience, and I don't regret it, but I regret not putting up the proper boundaries. I did not do that, and I think that it doesn't matter what I think now because hindsight is 22. Hindsight is 2020. I'm about 22, but hindsight is 2020, and I did not. Well, I want to say what I want to say is because I think if I wasn't being honest, this would be all for nothing, right? Like intuitively, I even told my friend this. Like I don't think it's gonna work out, but I'm willing to see how long it takes to end, and I I can admit now that it sounds like I was setting it up for a failure, but my intuition was screaming at me, and I just was not listening to myself in this situation because we broke up previously after I believe like almost 11 months of our relationship in the past, and we were in a good space, like even then I was like, hold on y'all, my yarn. I was in a very vulnerable space. Like he came in my life the first time when I was just leaving a situation. I even broke my finger on somebody's face. Like, but that's a whole other story, right? Like, it was like he came in my life in a space when I was my most vulnerable. I was very vulnerable. I was just coming off a fresh situationship, but in my mind, what I wanted from that person was not what the reality was. And again, not listening to my intuition because as a Scorpio, yes, I'm a Scorpio. Not that I feel like I can change somebody intentionally, but what I feel like is that if they truly get to know me, right? Truly get to know me, that they'll see me and they'll make a decision based off what they see, not just off what they want. And that was my bad, right? You can't make somebody, regardless of who you are. You can be the best woman in the world. You can have everything that they need, everything that they want. That could be hips, shape, lips, intelligence, great sex. It could be all of that, and they still won't give you what you want. And that's something that I wish I just would have been mature enough to accept then, right? But I wasn't. I wasn't in that mature space. Um, hmm. But anyway, we broke up. It was July of 2020. We broke up and we separated for a while and got back together. And I wouldn't say we got back together, but we reconnected in September, right around my daughter's birthday, right when she turned. I believe she turned. I think she just turned 10. It was her 10th birthday, and I took her to go get a dollhouse. She wanted this dollhouse. My daughter, she wanted this big ass dollhouse and a Nintendo Switch. That's the first one that came out. She wanted that and the dollhouse. That dollhouse was expensive as fuck. And then I took her to her favorite place that she loves to go. She loves. You can't tell me why. I don't know why. She loves Applebee's, right? She just you can't tell her nothing. She just loves being at Applebee's. That and Olive Garden. That's when we used to live in New York, by the way. And while we were there, I got a message from him, and he wanted to see me, and I should have said no, but I didn't say no. I didn't say no only because I wanted to see what he wanted. Like I couldn't see his energy. Like I knew he was in like some type of trouble. I don't know what type of. I couldn't tell you what type of trouble it was, but I knew he was in some type of trouble, and I just really wanted to, I guess, be nosy, and that's just the curiosity. I guess that's the woman in me, right? And I'm not saying that I was having or wanting him to come back in because I wanted to fix him or heal him. No, I was genuinely curious about what he was going through, and if my intuition about what he was going through was true, and I was right. He was in some type of trouble, and he also was sleeping with women. And he also was sleeping with women, and that's not really something that I'm upset about, because although I can be very territorial and I guess you could say jealous when it comes to certain situations, like if a man is going to sleep with somebody, that's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is the attention that you give to somebody else. Like, the attention that you give to somebody else, like you loving on them, you telling them you love them, you giving them promises. That is what that is what can really get under my skin. Like if you sleeping with somebody, okay, I'm still not gonna be with you, but but everything else that with the matters of the heart is something that I'm really strong about, and I can't get past that and having children on me. But he came back and we got into this weird ass argument, and I think this is what I thought when at the time, and I don't know if I'm right, I don't know if I'm wrong, and it doesn't really matter because that situation came and gone. It was years ago. We got into this weird argument about him saying that I was trying to make him choose me over a relationship when all I just wanted was a conversation. Like that was the weirdest part. Like it was like the biggest, like, so weird. It was just like I just really wanted a conversation with you. And at the time I used to smoke marijuana, so I just sent him to the kitchen to get some water. And he took mad long in the kitchen. I was trying to figure out what was going on in the kitchen. I'm calling him, not answering me, so I go in the kitchen. He's in there cleaning the stove, and I'm like, I'm in there. I'm in the back of the room choking my lungs out, and you back here cleaning the stove. All you had to do was bring me the water and go back, right, and clean the stove, whatever he was doing. And he said something in regards to why he didn't hear me calling him. And because he's Muslim, and what he was doing was zik, right? So he and what if you don't know what zik is like, I guess you can say in the more layman's terms so that everybody can understand it, is mantra, right? Saying something over and over again, right, in the name of Allah, right? But let's go ahead and move on from that. Anyway, um, uh, why he didn't respond to me is because he was doing his zik, right? I was like, okay, well, all right. But I'm thinking of him saying to myself, okay, but I was calling you, but that's neither here nor there. And he said that I don't want, I can't expect him to choose me over his religion. I don't know why or where he got that from, and this is why I strongly believe that that wasn't an intentional argument so that he can find a reason to leave, right? And that's okay. He didn't have to. For me, it's for me, if you're gonna leave, I'm not gonna chase behind you. I might call you incessantly, but I'm not gonna go out the door and chase behind you and force you to stay in the house with me so that you can tell me what's going on. If you don't want to stay, you can leave, but don't yell at me. Two, you know, don't lie to me. And I felt like what he was doing was picking some type of conflict between me and him just so that he can leave. And that's whenever I see people like that, men like that especially, you ever seen that movie with Sanaa Lathan? I think that's Sanaa Lathan and Wesley Snipes. It's called Disappearing Acts. He would just like come in and out of her life, just leave, right? Until the point where he got her pregnant and left her with the baby, did whatever he wanted to do to chase his career. And you can have whatever you want to have, but you can't just leave people, whenever you feel like leaving them. You can't leave them on the hook. If you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave for good. That's the end of that, right? But he left, and somehow it became my fault because I wanted to have a conversation. And at some point I just, as me, I don't know about everybody else, but at some point in my frustration, if I feel like whatever I say won't make a difference, I'm okay with being the bad guy. Let me blame it on me. It's my fault. I'll accept it, right? That is where I am, especially when I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna let you have that win, and we can just move on, right? We don't have to. I'm not gonna go back and forth with you because I just don't like conflict. I really prefer to have a conversation. People who have a hard time with having a conversation is because they have a hard time being honest, truthfully. And this doesn't mean that they're lying about something. They have a hard time being honest with their feelings. That's just how I feel about it. You can tell me, in the comments below if you disagree, but that's exactly how I feel. But he left, and I didn't hear nothing from him for a while. And then one day he sent me like a Cash App request. I don't know what the Cash App request was for, but my response was like, I didn't respond, but like in my head, like, what the hell you want me to send you anything for if you made it seem like as if me asking you for a conversation was me telling you can't be religious, you can't practice your religion. I could not, for the fact, to this moment, I don't get it. And I was just so angry about, look, mad at me. I was just so angry about that whole thing, and because I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, I'm one of those analytical people. Like, people call it overthinking, but I'm really not an overthinker. I analyze, and I want to figure out the pattern behind the situation, and I could not figure out the pattern behind that. Like, why was it a necessary task that you had to create an argument, create an issue, when you could have, if you wanted to leave, you could have just left? Why was that? What was it that made you want to create conflict in that instance? That is what I wanted to know. That was what was so confusing to me. But eventually we reconnected again 2 years ago, and I missed him. And I'm not sure exactly why I missed him. I'm not really sure exactly why I missed him. But everything in me, when I finally saw him, it came rolling back, right? All of those feelings. But now that I'm really thinking about it, his feelings for me didn't roll back because I was physically different. When we got together initially, I was slim. I was already on my weight loss journey. I lost over 140 pounds, so I was very, very slim when we got together. But after we broke up, I had a lot. Like I told you, I was going through a lot. So I put a lot of the weight back on, like a large majority of the weight. I put it back on, and when we reconnected, I don't think um, the connection for him came back the same way it came back for me. And that could have been what the failure was on my part is I had those old feelings for him instead of seeing him in this new eye, right? Seeing him from this new perspective because we did have this long separation between us, and we both changed. Some he changed physically too, to an extent, and so did I. You know, the only thing that didn't change about him is that he didn't put on weight. He's a naturally slim person and he's very athletic, so he didn't put the weight on like I did, right? But there was changes about him that I noticed, but I ignored because, like I said, the old feelings that I had for him resurfaced rather than me taking those feelings that I had for him or I could have developed for him now and using those feelings that I have for him now and evaluating them and analyzing them for what they truly are now, right? And now that I think about it, not that I wasn't in love with him, I was more I, I, I was more tethered to him, if that makes sense. Like, I had love for him. Like, I really want to see him do well. And sometimes I still miss him, so I don't hate him. Um, However, I had to regrow um, the view of him at this moment, right? I see him um, completely different from how I saw him back in 2020. Like, he's a whole different soul to me. And that person, the person that I know now, I don't like. I don't like who he is. He's not a very nice person. He's nice to everyone else. He's nice to. I remember one day he said to me, um, uh, you know, in regards to a relationship, like, are you sure you want to get back with me? Because people have a tendency to treat the people that they love the worst, right? That was a big red blaring neon or red. The camera keeps stopping. My phone needs to charge, but I just want to get all of this out. But it's a checker mark flag. It was just out there, just blaring, just like he told me this to my face, and I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. Like a dummy, like just like not just smart at all. And sometimes, saying it in the most sweetest way, just it don't help, right? Like, I like to, give it to you a little sweet, give it to you with, give you the real a little bit sweet. But sometimes you just need the blunt, honest truth. Like, that shit was dumb. Like, he told you to your face that he's gonna be terrible to you, and he was. He was not a nice person. Like, he had those moments where he was really cool, but he didn't. I think it had to pull the teeth of. It's like, when you gotta pull or force somebody or force somebody yourself to do something. I don't feel like he forced himself to love me. I feel like what he had to be forced to do was to express it outwardly, because I'm the type of person who is affectionate, right? I love just public displays of affection. I love attention from the person that I'm with. I love to be flirted with. I love to be touched. I love for my person to touch me. I love for my person to speak to me in the most intellectual way. So things that I don't know, I might even ask questions that I do know the answer to and just want to hear him respond to it. And because he was such a smart person, like, his brain is such a beautiful thing, and because he was just so smart, like, I would just ask questions that I already knew the answer to, and it was just so cool to just have that, right? And of course, I never made him feel like I already knew the answer, right? I always loved to hear him explain certain things. It was just beautiful to me, right? But when it was bad, it was very, very bad. Like, he didn't respect me. He was talking to other women over the internet, telling them how much he missed fucking them. It was just like I let the situation go. During this situation that we came back, I let us go last year August, you know. But this is how I know somehow, and I don't even realize when it occurred. Like there was some real trauma bonding in this situation. Like I bonded with this man in a way that I can't even truly understand. Right? Not that, I didn't know him, but the relationship between me and him, on the surface, like when people look at us, we looked like we were in a good space, but we were struggling. And I don't mean like in a financial way. I mean like struggling with each other. Like he didn't know me and I didn't know him, truthfully. Like I knew how he would react to me. I knew how upset he would be. I knew how he liked to be, enjoyed in the bed. But I didn't really know him. I knew that if he didn't like something that I said, that he would blow the fuck up. I knew that. I knew something would break. I knew that. So I felt like he was bullying me. I felt like he was trying to give a reaction to me that would cause me to clam up, keep me from bringing up the issue again, keep me from causing conflict or whatever, or not leaving things alone, or always bringing up old stuff, right? So, and I remember talking to him and telling him, like, don't yell at me, because, that is something that I still deal with. Even as an adult, I don't like to be yelled at. Growing up, I was yelled at. And as a person who put up that initial boundary, he didn't respect that at all, because not only did he yell, it just kept escalating, yelling and pointing and spitting in my face. Like as he would speak, there would be spit coming into my face and pointing directly into my face, and it started to feel like intimidation, right? And I'm saying feel like because that is what I felt. And it could have very well been that. Intimidation. Like he would just blow up. He would leave the house, block me on every single thing, stop talking to me, anything that he can do to get away from me. So eventually I started to ask him, why are you here? I started to ask, why are you here? Why are you here if you can do all of those things but still keep tabs of people that you used to have sex with? Why are you here? He would tell me he wouldn't be somewhere that he doesn't want to be, but I call cap. Yes, the fuck you would. You would be somewhere that you don't want to be. You would be somewhere that you don't want to be. Absolutely you would. And, I let him stay in my house. I let him stay in my house with his son. And he didn't pay a single bill. Didn't help me do a single thing. And when he finally left, he left to somewhere that he claims he's paying $1,000 a month. Now hear this. You've been here for 2 years almost. Didn't pay a single bill. $500 the max. And the last time He gave me money was cash. It was, I believe, like $180 if I can remember correctly, and that was for the light bill. But there was an ulterior motive to that as well, because I asked him, if you're not staying here, why are you giving me money? There was an ulterior motive to that. But he left this house. He moved out of here and moved into some place and was able to pay $1,000 a month when he couldn't help me do a thing here. That's another thing that makes me have a true understanding that if a person truly likes you, if they truly care about you, if they truly love you, they would not watch you struggle and be comfortable with that. I paid every single bill in this house, but my income can afford it, but why should it have to do that when there's two able-bodied adults here? On a single income. I don't get paid from YouTube. I don't get paid here. So everything I do is literally out of pure enjoyment. My hobby, my entertainment. This is something I just enjoy, like I enjoy knitting. My single solitary income was used to pay for the light bill, was used to pay for the apartment insurance, was used to pay for the sewage, was used to pay for the rent, was used to pay for the food. My income did that solely, and no help from him. And he would just look at me. He clearly had the money. He clearly had the money saved for him to be able to afford $1,000 and be able to supply whatever necessities that you needed to have to move into that new place. You absolutely had the money. You had the ability to do it, and you chose not to. So I'm not looking for any kudos, and I'm not looking for him to give me anything in return. But the clarity that I need is already coming from me. I already have the answer. I already know what the answers are. I just wish that he left when he realized I was not where he wanted to be. That's the only thing that I wish that he would have done right. Because I was there for him. I supported him. I supported him. Like a true person would. I supported him. And at the end of it all, he called me a bad person. The end of it all, he called me a bad person. And it doesn't make me sad anymore. It makes me understand that yes, I can still give people and receive with people the same way I've always been. I just have to be more, use my discernment more about how I give and receive. If it's not reciprocal, and I'm not saying it has to look exactly like I can do it, but it has to have that effort that I'm giving. So if I'm giving 100% to somebody, someone is going to be giving me 100% of their own effort. That is what I've learned from this whole thing. I was sad in the beginning. I was very upset in the beginning, and I had a lot of resentment for him. I'm not going to lie, I still have a lot of resentment for him. I actually dislike the person that he is, because to me, I feel like he's fake. What he displays to other people is not who he truly is, not who he was in his home. It was not who he was in his home. He displayed who he truly was in this home. And that's the person I do not like. Yeah. But My heart is still open, so that is a good thing. And my ability to do things for myself is still intact, although I do feel like I was very close to not being able to do it. By the time he left here, me personally, was in over $4,000 in debt. I had to pay that off immediately because I'm not staying in New Jersey for another year. I'm leaving. Um, because what I discovered is that I'm not happy in this space anymore. And I long for New York. I'm not going back to New York, but I really long for New York. But I feel like this space is no longer for me. And that's after our breakup previously, I was living in New York and I left that space. And that was one of the best things for me. And being here, that this was at the time the best thing for me. And now I think my time has run its course and it's time for me to move on to somewhere else, you know? And hopefully I find what I'm looking for, and I don't mean in love, right? I mean um, in completion, right? In the things that I'm hoping to have, those things that I'm manifesting into my life from myself and my children, and that includes my grandchildren. I'm a grandma, y'all. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed my story. And I hope I wasn't rambling too much, and I hope it all makes sense. And I hope that this situation that I was in, it is gonna serve as a lesson for anyone, not just another woman, but anyone who might be going through um, any situation similar to this. Okay, so I just want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much. Mwah. And please hit the like, the comment, and subscribe button, and watch my tarot readings, okay? Peace.